impressions are absolutely everything. If a game can't hook you in the very beginning, then you'll most likely put it down for failing to hold your interest. As a result, a game's first level is extremely important. A good first level sets the tone for the game ahead, teaches you what you need to know, and gets you excited for what's to come. These are the 10 levels that do those tasks the best in my eyes. I'll be judging them based on how well they immerse the player and teach them the fundamentals, and the first boss if applicable. So I say it's time to get started. Let's roll! Hey look, it's Arrow talking about Platinum games in a video. You can go mark that on your bingo card. Anyways, one of Platinum's finest in my eyes is the wonderful 101. And how does that game start out? With a bang! Many of them, actually. This prologue does a great job at introducing what the whole game is about. You get introduced to two of the main characters and the main selling point of the game, the Unite Morphs. You're also taught how to fight as a team and how you can really lay a smackdown with a bunch of allies by your side. On top of that, the cinematics are absolutely top-notch, and there's a little humor mixed in with the serious tone as well. The big reason it couldn't get any higher than 10th place is because the level itself is pretty short. Regardless, this got me super excited for the wonderful game that was to follow. Say what you will about Sonic, I still love most of his games. One thing they're consistently good at is hooking you from the very beginning. When you boot up Sonic Colors, it just immediately drops you into the first level with no intro, no fluff, no nothing. Quite the refreshing change of pace, and it helps that the first act of Tropical Resort is super well done. First off, the aesthetics are a sight to behold. Bright and bold colors everywhere, and it really conveys the sense of being in an amusement park. As well as that, the game does a great job at teaching you how to play in both direct and indirect ways. The level is designed in a way to help you first understand the basics and then master them. From simple things like the short hop to maintain momentum, to rail grinding, and even how boosting attracts nearby rings. And when you unlock Wisp powers a bit later, you can revisit this level to grab any goodies you might have missed. I'd say this level passes inspection with flying colors. Okay, that joke was awful. Let's move on before I start punching myself. Picking my favorite first dungeon from the Zelda series was a bit of a tricky endeavor. All of them do a great job at immersing you in the game and teaching you key fundamentals about how dungeons work. In the end, I had to settle on the one that did it the best in my eyes, and I went with the Woodfall Temple from Majora's Mask. Compared to other first dungeons in this series, there's a lot more to digest here, which I really like since many other first dungeons are too simple for me. First, this dungeon does a great job testing you on what you've learned about the Deku form, from jumping out of flowers and gliding, to shooting bubbles, and hopping on water. Secondly, you're given the bow as the dungeon item, and it's put to use in some really neat puzzles. And finally, the first boss of this game named... yeah, I'm not gonna bother pronouncing that, is a really fun and actually kind of challenging fight, which is refreshing for a first boss in this series. All that together makes Woodfall Temple one of my favorite dungeons in this series, and definitely my favorite first dungeon. Kirby games are consistently really good at getting you hooked from the very beginning. These first levels are basic for sure, but allow you to get used to how Kirby handles out of the gate. Out of all of them though, my favorite is definitely from Planet Robobot. The first thing this level does really well is showing off the visual theming for the game. All around you, you can see nature blended with technology, and even the enemies have some metal on them, which is pretty cool. As well as that, you're given the chance to use some basic copy abilities like Sword and Fire out of the gate, which is really neat. There's even a chase portion where you're running from the eventual first boss, Clanky Woods. Now you could just be a coward and run away. Run away! Run away! Run away! But what's interesting is that you can actually defeat Clanky Woods, and I find that really cool. It's short for sure, but for how well it shows off what the game has to offer, it had to be on here. Super Mario Galaxy is such an incredible game. From the very beginning, it's clear that this game is an experience like no other before. And once Bowser goes that extra mile to take not just Peach but her entire castle— wait, hasn't he already tried that before? And Mario gets flung into deep space, things take a turn for the extraordinary. The planet you wake up on allows you to really get a feel for how the game handles by giving you a fun challenge to grab some rabbits. After all that, you're introduced to the enigmatic Rosalina and you get the ability to spin and fly through the cosmos. Right away, you put those new abilities to work in a new area that teaches you about how gravity works and how to fight enemies, which is crucial for the road ahead. And after freeing the Grand Star and landing in the Comet Observatory, you have the whole universe to look forward to. While short and very easy, even for a first level, the way it showcases what you're in for just had to land in here. This game is certainly out of this world. Everyone always talks about how fantastic Megaman X's opening stage is, and they're completely right. Central Highway does an excellent job immersing you into the game and teaching you everything you need to know by cleverly incorporating the level design as a makeshift tutorial. But I feel that what Central Highway did, Noah's Park and X8 did better. First off, I gotta give credit to the visuals. As opposed to a mechanical theme most opening levels in this series have, this level instead opts for a jungle setting, and it looks great. As well as that, it does a great job at teaching the player about the various mechanics of X8. This level is designed in the perfect way to teach you how the three characters work without completely holding your hand. And if you're someone who's new to gaming, Ayla can provide hints and tips at the press of a button. It also does a great job at showcasing how combat works with all the characters and how to use the duo attack. Kind of a shame the first boss is little more than a punching bag, but the rest of the level makes up for that in spades. So I'm fine with this, Noah. I gotta congratulate him on a job well done. Getting the warning out of the way, I'm talking about Mad World. You should know what to expect at this point. Blood, violence, and more things not suitable for the young and squeamish. Mad World is a really crazy game all about killing as many people as possible in various creative ways. So it's a good thing that the first level not only teaches you to do just that, but completely encourages you. Admittedly, the beginning portion is kinda slow with the forced tutorial, but I can excuse it because of the carnage you're allowed to do out of the gate. Once you're given some freedom, the level basically becomes a playground, and you can do whatever you want. Impale some people, throw them in front of a train, shove a guy into a burning barrel to keep 3 hobos warm for the night, just do whatever. It also helps that the Bloodbath challenge is super fun to both do and just to watch. And capping it all off is the first boss against Little Eddie.
I don't get why they call him Little Eddie when he's so fucking big.
I think it's supposed to be ironic.
What?
You know, the use of words to express something other than, and especially the opposite of, the literal meaning. Usually a humorous or sardonic literary style or form.
You got beat up in school a lot, didn't you?
As a first boss, he is pretty simple, but man is this fight satisfying, and just gets you pumped for the awesome bosses that are to come later. Well, most of them anyway. And now we come to one of the most famous first levels in gaming. When people talk about a game that hooks you from the very beginning, Metal Gear Rising: Revengeance is probably going to be brought up, and for good reason. This level not only does a fantastic job at teaching you movement and combat options, but also sets up the story in a great way. The way it's presented, you want to take down Sundowner for trying to kill you, and Jetstream Sam for literally disarming you. But then there's the part that made this level famous, the boss fight against Metal Gear Ray. It's the perfect difficulty, completely over the top, and so much fun. And all builds up to the legendary...
Swinging wide open!
Quite frankly, if you don't want to continue this game after that spectacle, you clearly hate fun. Introducing the next segment is Pit. Pit, where are you?
Sorry to keep you waiting.
Ah, there we go. After that line, which I'm sure makes a few of us feel old, we're introduced to such a beautiful first level. Right out of the gate, you're introduced to Pit and Palutena with the big baddie Medusa waiting to greet you at the end. The beginning portion does such an excellent job showing how the flying section handled. It's done at a good pace, the enemies are pretty easy to deal with, and the obstacles are kept to a minimum. Also, you can just enjoy flying through the sky. And once you land, the game wastes absolutely no time fueling you up and getting you prepped for ground combat. The controls definitely take getting used to, but with how it's structured, you have more than enough breathing room to get your bearings. And all this is capped off by the first boss, Twin Bellows. While it is pretty basic, it's a great warm-up for the more intense bosses later down the line. And the whole level is tied together by the sensational writing Uprising is famous for. This level should really be shown in design classes for just how well it excels at immersing the player. But what kind of level can top this? Let's recap what makes a great first level real quick. A great first level immerses the player, teaches them the fundamentals about the game, sets the story and tone, and gets them excited for what's to come. And there's only one level that does that the best in my eyes. And now it's time, I tell you which. Out of all the first levels I've played, none even come close to how well Bayonetta 2's prologue excels in this regard. First off, the story is set in spectacular fashion. You have the Platinum Games' famous blend of serious and stupid, all while being showed the stakes and the kind of enemies Bayonetta is in for. Oh, and you fight the first wave of enemies on a fighter jet, as if the scenario wasn't crazy enough. Secondly, it does an absolutely flawless job at teaching you how combat works. The enemies are hardly static punching bags, but don't brutally punish mistakes either, so you're free to learn at your own pace. And as you get better with the combat and learn how to dodge and take down enemies with ease, you just want to see more and more. And all leads up to a fantastic first boss. Once Gamera breaks free of the Umbran Witch's control, you're forced to fight it. And not only is it stupendously done first boss, but it also showcases that you'll be fighting enemies from Inferno as well as Paradiso. And to cap it all off, the cinematics and writing are absolutely top notch and constantly keep you engaged. And even manages to hammer in the feels at the end, with Bayonetta holding Jean's lifeless body, giving her a goal for the rest of the game. Everything a first level should do is encapsulate its perfection in this one level, and that makes it my favorite first level in video games. I'm Arrow Dragon, and I couldn't be more excited for Bayonetta 3. Well, this was certainly a fun list to work on, and I really hoped you enjoyed it. Also, I got a challenge for you guys, my fans. If I can reach 1,000 subscribers before the summer comes when I can work on a new countdown, my next countdown will be my favorite video games. Yes, I will put myself through that grueling challenge if you can help me reach 1,000 subscribers. The challenge is on. Until next time, this is Arrow Dragon, signing out.